Hello, my name is Joseph, and this is a story of how I got scammed in a way I will never forget for the rest of my life. So it starts out like this. I was in 10th grade when it happened. I was one of what you call the cool kids at school. I had lots of friends and everyone wanted to get to know me. I would admit that I'm probably popular because my father owns a big company and my family is very rich. But the thing is, I don't really care about money or being popular. And even though I had lots of friends, I always felt lonely because I never had a real connection with any of these friends. All they cared about was having fun, partying, and joking around. But at the end of the day, there was no one to have a sincere conversation with. Until one time. My friend Mike sent me a website link for online chats and said that I can find tons of attractive girls there. I didn't give it much thought and went on with my day, because most likely it was just another shallow interaction with others, and I was already sick of that. But later that day, I felt kind of bored, and I decided to check out that link. I logged in and started chatting with someone anonymous. I began asking questions about that person, and learned that her name was Anne, and she's a 16-year-old girl. I asked her what she was like, her hobbies, what school she goes to, and the conversation went on and on for 3 hours, which felt like minutes. We simply lost track of time and just enjoyed the conversation. Before saying goodnight, I asked if we could talk again, and she said yes. Since that day, we spoke with each other on a daily basis. Our conversations were always deep and meaningful, which made me feel like I have finally found someone to talk to, someone that can understand the real me. She also told me about her problems, and I always tried to comfort her as much as I could. Unlike mine, her life was really hard, and I couldn't imagine how she manages to survive every day. Her dad was cheating on her mum, and he'd come home every day drunk. He also refused to give them any money because he spent it all on his mistress. Sometimes she wouldn't even eat because there was no food in the house. I felt so sorry for her, and if I could, I would have been there by her side. I repeatedly asked her if we could meet in person and get to know each other even better, but she always refused. She said that if her father finds out she talks with a boy, he'd be very angry, and she's terrified from what he could do. Instead, she sent me pictures of herself so I'd get to know her better, and her pictures were amazing. She was so beautiful. She had light brown hair, green eyes, and her smile was gorgeous. To be honest, I couldn't help but develop strong emotions for Anne. In fact, she was everything I ever wanted in a girl. Because of that, I was positive that if I had to be patient until I met her, I was willing to wait. Months went by, and our bond was growing stronger and stronger. She confessed to me that she has feelings for me, and I told her that I did too. We would write things like, "I love you," and "You're the one," to each other, and I felt like I was head over heels in love with her. Since we still couldn't meet, I was eager to at least video chat with her, but her phone camera was broken and she had no money to fix it. So I decided to send her money to fix her camera. She said she didn't want to be a burden, but I insisted. So I sent $300 and waited. Days went by, and Anne still did not fix her phone camera. When I confronted her about it, she said that she couldn't help but use the money to buy food for the house and new shoes because hers were too old. I couldn't be mad at her for that. Of course, I wanted to see her live on camera, but unlike her, I'm kind of spoiled and I have nothing to really worry about. So I tried to understand. And with time, I decided to help her because I really did love her. So I sent her, every now and then, money, whenever she needed it. She said she'll pay me back, but I knew she couldn't, which was okay with me because my parents are super rich after all, and they wouldn't mind me spending much money. A few months later, Anne still didn't fix her camera, which I found weird because at that point, I'd sent her more than $5,000 overall, and fixing her camera was never one of her priorities. I've been waiting for a long time, and I couldn't be patient anymore. I wanted to see her, and to be honest, I felt kind of suspicious about what was going on. Therefore, I decided to take matters into my own hands. The next morning, I took off, and I went to find her at the school that she goes to. I asked around for a girl named Anne, and I showed lots of kids her picture. Surprisingly enough, no one was able to recognise her, and it was clear by then that she doesn't go to that school. The only option I had was to look into who that girl really is, and what else could she be hiding. I went home, searched her image, name, and any information I know about her, and it all led me to dead ends. I was desperate, and I kept thinking of ways that could lead me to know more about her, when suddenly my phone buzzed. It was a message from Anne, and she was asking if I could send her some more money because she needed to buy medicine for her sick mother. And that's when an idea popped into my head. I quickly said yes, and told her that there was a problem with money transferring and that I could only give her the money in cash. Of course, she didn't want to meet with me to receive the money, so I told her that I have no problem with leaving her the money somewhere which she could pick up later. After she figured out that it was the only way to get the money, she agreed. So the plan was that I'd leave the money in a bird box near a close park at night, and she can go there and pick them up. But what she didn't know was that I will be hiding somewhere near and wait until I could see who will take the money. As planned, I put the money exactly in the place we agreed on, and I hid behind a bush and waited. I waited and waited. 2 hours passed, and no one was coming to take the money. I started to think that she will not come, so I sent her a text asking if she took it, and she replied with, "Yes, thank you very much." I knew she was lying, so my will to stay and wait there was even stronger at that point. After another 2 hours, there was still no one, and I started to get tired because it was very late and I fell asleep behind the bush. I wasn't sure how much time I slept, but I woke up to a car noise. It was a big black car, and a skinny dude got out of the car, walked towards the bird box and grabbed the money. I tried to look closer at who it was. The car looked very familiar, but I couldn't recognise it in the dark. I decided to send Anne a text to verify my suspicions, and as I expected, at that moment, I saw that guy grabbing his phone and replying to my message as Anne. When he was about to reply, the screen light reflected on his face in the dark, and I was able to see who it was. I could not believe my eyes. That person was Mike, my friend who sent me the link in the first place, and I was talking with him the whole time. I had an urge to go and confront him about it right away, but something held me back. I was actually so ashamed from falling for his scam. I couldn't believe that I could be that stupid. If I did confront him about it, he would just laugh in my face. So I got up and walked back home. I didn't know how to feel or what to say. I never imagined myself in a situation like this. I always heard about people getting scammed online, but I thought I was too smart to fall for such a thing. But the truth is that I did, and I underestimated the power someone can have over me if my emotions were involved. After that, it took me a long time to stop feeling bad about what happened, even though I got scammed by my friend and couldn't do anything about it. I was glad I learned a very valuable lesson, more valuable than the $5,000 I got scammed for, actually, because now I have changed and I realise that I shouldn't trust anyone like that, not someone I met online or even a friend I know in real life. All in all, I'm sharing this story with you today to warn you from getting into a similar situation as mine, because sometimes we think that it could never happen to us and we let down our guard, but in reality, it could actually happen to anyone, and we should all be cautious.